Hello and welcome to the Rolex 24 Hours at Daytona. Oh, wait, hang on a sec. That's not right. I gotta switch hats here. I'm not, in fact, sitting with Graham Goodwin and John Hindaw. I am sitting with DuncanIdaho, Greendragoon, and Markhawkman, and we're going to do the Foundry Roundtable. So it's episode 183. Gosh, we're getting close to that big 200 mark, aren't we?
Yeah, yep. Although we'll actually hit our 5-year anniversary before then.
Yes, we will. Just next month, in fact. Can you believe it? 5 years.
Well, yes.
That's kind of insane. And here we still are. But that's all right, because obviously we have something that we feel strongly about and can keep talking about forever. So,
yep.
and that being the Foundry. And actually, this is a great week for the Foundry.
There's so much good stuff.
There's so much good stuff. But we're going to check that out just a little bit later, because we got some Foundry maps that Bloodleaf WoW has offered to have us show on the stream here, and he's in the team with us. And we're actually going to take the opportunity to see if we also get the teaming bug.
Okay. Well, one thing I would like to point out is that while he uses Bloodleaf WoW for Twitch, his in-game one is Spiritborn.
Yep.
Yes.
And you'll see that on the forums too. So in case, Spiritborn's listening, what we're going to do is allow Drogon, since he's party leader, to spawn in first, and then we will follow him up. So we'll see how this works.
Now, I don't think that will actually work in this particular occasion, because we're on ground, so I think it's going to give us all the option to go in at once, right?
Possibly. Depends, though, if we've already started the mission. Since usually starting the mission, it sort of lets you go in one at a time, but we will see what happens. Mm-hmm. If it does, then we'll just have to modify our approach next time. So let's just give it a try.
Well, let's give it a shot.
Yep, there we go. So yeah, I think what we'll need to do is basically have you not on a team start the mission, then we team up, and then everyone else joins in.
Okay, so I'm going to cancel that.
Okay.
And I'm going to everybody leave the team.
All right.
I'm going to go into the mission.
And then you basically will then send us team invites.
Yep.
We're doing science!
As we wait in the black hole of loading screen.
Science. While this is going through, we can kind of hit the highlights for what's came out this week.
Mm-hmm.
So, 8th anniversary.
Take it away.
So yeah, we've got the 8th anniversary is currently live. We talked a little bit about what's going to be coming up with this during our last show. So we got Discovery Lockbox, wonderful new goodies for that. A lot of us are still watching the prices on the Crossfield class and Sarcophagus, watching to see when they get a little bit lower, and they're coming down.
450 million-ish.
Yeah, man, after the first week, that's pretty good from where it started.
First day, the Sarcophagus ship was being listed for the maximum that you could stick it on the exchange for.
I saw it at 600.
It's still a little more expensive at the moment.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
it's like I said, that was the first day. It's gone down a lot since then.
Okay, yeah. So they're coming down in price, so it's just something to keep an eye on. But yeah, those are the new ships. They're fancy, and we've also got the opportunity to get a Bajoran Interceptor, which I've actually been using since it was a contest prize from a Star Trek Online stream, and I can say that it is a very nice ship and works really well with the Starship trait from the last event.
All right, so I am in the mission, and I'm
joining in.
Yep.
We've also it's also worth noting that we didn't get any Foundry downtime with this one. It was there, I think. We got a republish.
I mean, it was very, very vast.
We could not detect it. The Foundry was already back up when I logged in a few hours after the patch. So, and we've got a lot of new assets, and later on in the show we'll go through those in full detail. But these are ground costumes that Zero amazingly put in there. I think this is the single largest influx of new costume assets that I've ever seen in the Foundry since I've started working on it.
Hippie John says there was a whole day, but I don't believe it was, because we actually recorded the Discovery Roundtable in a Foundry map that evening.
And I was
Tuesday patch.
When I logged on, around 2 or 3 o'clock that day, the Foundry was already back online.
Yeah. So I mean, it was hours, not.
Yeah.
Which was fantastic. I hope all of them go that smoothly.
But yeah, Cryptic did a great job with that. And the other thing worth noting too is that we did get a couple ships. The new Dranzuli /Spoiler Swarmer and the Bajoran Interceptor, but we have not got the Discovery ships yet.
I'm sure we will at some point.
Oh yeah.
Well,
so go ahead.
Our little teaming test thing, I feel the need to point out that there was a small complication that didn't work out the way it was necessarily supposed to. Did you notice that there's a bridge officer following me around?
Yeah, somebody got their bridge officer still.
Yep. I'm walking around here, and this is a nicely structured map, and I did like the grading section.
Mm-hmm.
So these are sort of
feels a lot like Drazana.
These are sort of Discovery themed maps. Things that are supposed would fit in a Discovery style mission, or era mission.
The one thing I'll say, ceiling lights, ESD recess lights would go great in some of these hallways, even if there's just a couple.
I'll tell you what one thing I really like is he put, and I can't remember what it is, but something that throws off some flickering lights back here.
Oh, it's one of the energy balls.
Yeah, obscure. So it looks like a light that's back there that's not working. Which is fantastic.
I just had to let the cat out of the room. I do like the structure here and the
sparking asset.
Spark effect. Yeah, I do like that bit.
It's a good one. Good one not to forget.
Yeah, especially with the fact that it's a lighting asset too.
Atmosphere. Yeah.
Yeah. We got a few new assets, and I think one of the bigger points of Star Trek Foundry news is the fact that we do have a new spotlight.
We do.
Yes.
2 actually.
One that we actually played on this show, if you guys recall.
Yeah.
It's basically the same mission, but for Fed and KDF, right?
Well, yeah. So it is the 100th by Pax Federotica, who was in chat but is unfortunately unable to.
He was having streaming issues today.
Yeah. So that is now our latest spotlight, and it's been very well received, and it rightfully so because it's a really good mission. So props to Pax, and also props to Cryptic, Ambassador Kale, and Zero for getting this all together and giving us another spotlight opportunity. So the one thing I'll say from a frequent viewer of 10 Forward Weekly is just the fact that Kale has said that he's hoping to do more spotlights. So keep the missions coming, both in terms of looking to see what's being played, making sure that people know about those. So letting us know, maybe even letting Kale know. But
if you find a really good one.
If you find a really great one, just start making lots of noise so at least someone picks up on it, because we're just making sure that this great stuff people are putting out there is played and just gets as much recognition as possible, because the Foundry is a very special thing. So definitely
it sure is. Otherwise we would not have spent 5 years talking about it.
I know, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, in hosting new challenges and
let's move on to the next map here.
I will say it means a lot more.
One thing I'm kind of curious about is one thing I noticed while you guys were talking is that there's an effect of water drops falling and splashing on the ground. I don't think that's a map-wide thing. So I'm kind of curious.
No, that's one that we can place.
Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah, that's
what asset is that?
It's water drops or something like that. It's like an effect.
Definitely it's a placeable asset. Because I've seen that used as something that an author has triggered. I think it was Ricky Smith in one of his latest Star Trek Continues who used that at a particular point for a malfunctioning transporter room. Well,
the choice here was actually really good because it was in that hallway area with the sparking lights and the grates in the floor.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of the big news. So a lot of new Foundry assets. We'll cover those later. New Spotlight, new mission, no downtime, and a bunch of great stuff for the 8th anniversary.
Yeah, it's been a pretty good week.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a space station, or a planetary base of some sort.
Like the paintings on the wall. Nice bit of decor. Ooh, button.
No, not a button.
I want to press the button.
Okay. So here's something that I almost always forget about is this little Federation symbol on the floor here that we can place.
It's into the carpet, isn't it?
Nope,
no, you can place it as
it's a placeable
decal.
Asset, and it's a little bit transparent.
Yeah,
so it'll kind of take on some of the texture of the carpet behind it.
Yeah, my second to last mission to publish had that. What madness is here? This hallway isn't quite finished yet.
Yes. This is a work in progress. I do like the sort of combination of TOS and other assets.
Yeah, that fits really well.
Yeah, there's an NPC here that is dressed like Kirk. Well, actually, no, he has the top like Kirk, but he's wearing the Discovery pants. Kind of weird.
Yeah. Because we can start blending those aesthetics together, and yeah.
Very casual on this station.
It's Casual Friday.
It's progenitors of Starfleet security. We just don't really care. As long as you come into work with pants on, you're
No,
fine.
Dragon, don't go into the light.
I'm going into the light. Bye.
And
over there is the end of the universe.
Woohoo!
So pretty. And then you
done.
I've always found it hilarious to run around the backside of the walls and just like stare at everything from the backside.
Done. Where are you guys? I gotta use a mini map.
Okay, so he actually has a triggered thing here, which unfortunately I already triggered.
The elevator.
Yeah, the old switcheroo elevator.
Oh, that's why that hallway wasn't working right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
so
that's a nice trick.
You run into it and it despawns that and spawns one going the other direction. So it looks like you've changed decks.
I'll eventually be able to hit you guys.
Although Mark has actually got around to the other side of it.
Yeah, I just walked around the outside of the walls.
I'm watching this on Twitch.
Hey, there we go. Perfect. Yellow door.
Why is there an explosion here?
Because I'm underneath the floor shooting up.
He ran off the world.
we like to break people's maps.
Yeah. Although it's odd that I was the one who broke it this time, because that's usually Mark's job.
Usually.
He didn't.
Well, see, there's that whole thing of accidentally breaking it and intentionally breaking it.
Oh.
When I break it, it's intentional because I'm carefully looking for things to break. I hadn't finished looking for things to break yet. I mean, I already found things to break, but I was still looking.
Observation in the chat.
A nice sick bay here.
User Melise68 just stabbed Hippie John. Is that Baz?
That sounds like Baz.
That sounds like Baz talk. Yeah. But yeah, from what I can see on from what I can see on Twitch, yeah, I do like that's a nice sick bay. Mm-hmm. Oddly, I do like the foundation walls because they kind of make this a little bit more stark. So they kind of set it apart from TOS, but not like a really jarring one.
And kind of set it apart from a starship map as well.
Yeah, and I think the TOS wall lights and the flipped around ESD consoles, the wall panels. I think that's also a really nice touch as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, I'd say on some of these doorways, I would actually say for this type of map, this might be a good one to try to find another pillar to kind of break up the standard Federation walls. So like at a corner or an intersection, you put a column there, because I actually found for some maps that can make the map really kind of stand out, especially since we've used a lot of these. These are kind of older assets in the Foundry. We've seen a lot of these missions. And yeah, it can help sort of make something feel a little bit more futuristic or a little bit more retro. So like the square pillars.
So something just occurred to me. When we transitioned to this map, my bridge officer went back to the ship. Oh well.
We have a full.
You weren't supposed
team.
to be there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, so we will go to the final map.
Dun.
Oh, fine. I was going to do like a full circumnavigation of the outside of the map, but I guess we don't have time for that.
And while we're transitioning, we can give a few shout-outs to new missions that have just come out. So we've got Shattered Mirror Part 1 and 2 by Richie Rich in 1991. First-time author, and has already put out a couple of missions, and some of the screenshots do look pretty good for that one. So definitely check those out. So that's Shattered Mirror Part 1 Romulans, and Shattered Mirror Part 2 Rebels by Richie Rich 1991. We've also got the Valim's Dispute Trespasses by Maraxa, another new author. I played this one, and I was really impressed with some of the unconventional character, and just sort of, it was a really good and interesting setup to sort of a new species and a new type of encounter towards the border of Federation space. So another recommendation, the Valim's Dispute Trespasses. And those might still be in review, so make sure that if you can't find them, check out there. Ooh,
so this last one is Klingon themed.
I like that.
Greats always work well with Klingon maps.
I like grates, and then you put a light right on top, like right above the grate, and you can actually, if you do it right, you can get a great pattern on the floor as lighting.
Hey,
nice.
I just noticed something. I have a boss following me around again.
They found you.
He was lonely.
It's a different bridge officer than the last time, though.
This time, interesting. Because I have one of mine too.
Oh yeah, I was wondering why there's.
I think we all do.
No, that's I've got one of mine.
Yep.
Hiroko has a bridge officer too, apparently.
Okay, we all got bridge officers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but
so
I didn't get. Actually, it's kind of odd because usually the bridge officer I get for single is in the first spot is Jagoro, and this isn't. So. Well, good luck explaining.
It's interesting because it seems to be giving you a random member of your ground team. It's not giving you a specific one.
Yeah, what it also could do is that it could be like, one of us gets in position 1, one of us gets position 2, one of us gets position 3, one of us gets position 4. Something weird like that, or it could just be random.
It could be that it's trying to fill in empty team slots based on which slot in the team it sees as being empty.
I like the fact that we go up this ramp and there is a different style wall on the opposite side. To kind of make
cover
that
up those holes somehow.
Yeah, but yeah, I do like it's a different style of wall.
I wonder if I can jump through this hole. Nope.
Oh. Ooh, nice use of the Klingon logo.
That is nice.
Yes, that is cool.
Fire asset. Oh wait, which fire asset is?
Cool.
What do we do for fire assets over there? Because is that a standard fire and then?
I think it's just.
I think it's a standard fire with like a little bowl or something in it.
Yeah, it's a little bowl thing, but which one is that? Yeah, I want to see it closer.
I know I've recognized the bowl, and I don't think the fire asset is anything special.
Okay, yeah, so it's probably attached to the bowl then. Hey. I got over. Oh no.
Yeah, there's an invisible wall.
I got it. Okay. Oh no, visible, but there's some closer. Yeah, it's the flaming bowl thing. So, torch. It's just not the one I knew the Klingons had. So I will have.
It's not. It's a combination of a couple of assets.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that really is a cool use of that logo though, because I mean it's so huge. It's hard to find a good use for it.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's one of the the kitchen bowls raised up a little bit. But then you got the fire. So yeah, that's a really nice combo. And the Klingon batters, I like those, like just hanging on the side. Can't quite shoot them properly. Yeah, overall, really well done for this bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a nice control center.
Ooh, where does this hallway go?
And you know that it's a good lesson in you can make things outside the map that you can look at through like windows or gaps or overlooks. Things that don't necessarily the player doesn't have to necessarily go there.
Yeah.
It just it just fleshes out the map a little bit. It makes it look like it's bigger than it actually is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Hiroko said it's just a standard flaming asset and a bowl.
Yeah.
Also, I see red dots trying to chase me down, but I don't actually see them.
I think they're on the top of the map or something.
Oh, you did? I'll come help shoot them.
They're not the shooty type.
Oh,
I'm stuck down below again. I gotta see the bulls up close.
There's a whole room full of Klingons here.
Yeah, that's a lot of Klingons.
They are angrily pointing.
Okay, so that actually ends the work in progress thing here. So I'm going to not labor review in this case because he doesn't want to get this out of review just yet. That's all right. So just got some interesting stuff going on.
For a fraction of a second, I thought I had my weapon light up. Like there was something. Maybe just one of those weird flukes it does sometimes.
These are interesting Klingons. They're like either an attempted Discovery Klingons or half Klingon, half Freeman.
I mean, we since we don't have Discovery Klingon options, giving them the Vodwar mask that works, and the helmet.
There's also new options you can do to obscure a face.
Well, we're about to get to that.
These definitely do seem to closely resemble the look of the Discovery Klingons, though.
And alternatively, they look a little bit like the Kelvin type-line Klingons as well.
And I found this guy who looks like Chang, only with hair.
So if you want to find out what the deal is with these guys, you're just going to have to wait and play Bloodleaf's new mission.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I assume is coming soon.
Of course.
Well, I think he's more like your style Dragoon.
Oh, it's like
coming
soon in perpetuity.
you know, there's one group of Klingons here. The first thing that their costume reminds me of is the Lin Kuei costumes from Mortal Kombat. Because they have that sort of like a face mask and body armor look to them.
Did anyone else just start playing the Mortal Kombat theme song in their head?
Dun, 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 dun. I didn't even own Mortal Kombat. I know that theme.
I know.
We grew up in the era of Mortal Kombat. You know, when we were kids, it was the game that you would go rent.
To be honest,
like the forbidden game that you had some friend that had.
Didn't don't let your parents see you playing
the way that this room is put together, it kind of reminds me of that scene in the movie where they had that big fighting arena and they had like hundreds of people from Outworld just standing around the arena.
All right, well, thanks Bloodleaf for letting us show off your maps there, and we will move it along because we have lots of stuff to talk about. So, Dragoon, why don't you fire up the Foundry?
Okay.
And we will take a look through the new costumes that have been added.
Mortal Foundry!
Round one. Build.
Yeah.
So while you're doing that, speaking of combat and building and challenges, we have the 26th Century Challenge going on. We have 2 entries now.
Woo!
Huzzah!
It's by I believe Hippie John was the first and Starfar Thetis the second. Yeah. So yay! And then
we would love to have more. Please join in.
Yeah, because think about it this way: one of these people is going to get a Dirty LaForge Bridge Officer code, which you could have instead. So fight.
Don't let them steal it away from you. And if you're listening and you have actually started and have not put your mission in the entry list, please go do that. So.
Even if they're not finished yet.
Yeah, even if they're not finished yet.
Okay. Orion, go do that. And I know there are other folks who are interested, and we're saying they were interested. So if they have started their challenge mission, who I'd love to see do this? Johnny Snowball. Come on, Johnny, do it. Johnny Snowball, go do it. Make a mission for this.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I got it. Johnny Snowball, 26th century smuggler mission. Get to it.
Maybe some smugglers stowed away on the Enterprise J or something.
Yes! Come on! It doesn't even have to be from the 26th century.
There's business opportunities to be had.
I mean, it could even just be the same character, just in the 25th century, and just write it like that. Come on.
In perpetuity, this 26th century mission series is, another one of those things that people can make missions for at any time after the challenge is done. It'll stay as a plot and exist forever.
Yep. So you may see me making, a few missions or just the one. We'll see.
A few hundred.
No. Actually, I got a lot more leeway on this one because I am writing for the KDF, so I don't have to worry about eventually overpopulating my Fed mission list. I'm actually having to start thinking about that now. It's well, if I want to just keep making Starfleet security missions, I do want to make sure I have what's our limit for how many missions can be displayed at a time? If you do a Foundry search, is it 25?
I don't even know.
Okay,
I'd say it's 50.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And I'm in a better position then. I can make at least 50 or at most 50 Fed missions.
Well, you have a limit of 40.
Okay, then I'm good.
In your mission journal or in your project list.
Right now I've got 20 projects altogether. Including one Apex KDF board. Which I might eventually get rid of if I start building a bunch of KDF, dedicated KDF missions, but we'll see. That one's
all right. So, Dragoon, you've got the Foundry open, so let's take a look through the new options.
And just to let Dragoon know, I'm sending over a few screenshots, but we don't have to get to these until after we're done.
So we made ourselves a list here.
Yep, it's a long
so
list.
The first thing to mention isn't actually a costume, but we got some Zenkethi contacts, NPCs.
Yep, one is already being made a character in the 26th century anthology. And just to let people know, his name is Yuntak, he's a medic, and I'm using Lieutenant variant for that one. So yeah, if you want to, what is that, Zenkethi, 26th century medic? Yuntak. Done. He's just Zenkethi who's a medic. A little extreme, but yeah, we'll see how he goes.
All right.
And I've been challenged to write romantic optional dialogue for a Zenkethi, and I won't do it, but I might make a joke about it.
The path of romance joke?
Just have some optional...
with the player. There we go. I can make him the romantic option for the player.
Oh, you mean like in Mass Effect where you have the ability to romance species that logically don't make sense?
Well, this is more in the sense of some authors have done that, like Johnny Snowball for Shore Leave. Was it Shore Leave Under Siege who he had potential relations to the player. I was thinking about actually doing that for this mission, but I've opted to sort of take that way because it's Klingon and I'm not quite sure how to write that yet. But no, I could do that with the Zenkethi. Oh god, this is almost
I'm not sure what way you'll do it, but I would do it worse. You have some sort of romantic optional dialogue or something, like a pickup line or something, and just have them laugh right in your face.
No, what I'm thinking is
so
just
not my type.
you say something, he says something, and it just gets so awkward. And it's just let's end this conversation.
I can't pick up my loot.
Okay, yeah. So
remember how I said I noticed those enemies running around the map? I figured out how to kill them.
Okay, so getting to the list, so we can kind of go through this in order. So that first one, Dragoon, Cardassian uniform. We don't have all the parts for this one, but this will be in female, at the very least, under tight pants, and then we've also got the collar options.
I verified that the pants are available for male characters, too.
Okie dokie. So, yeah,
there's actually tight and loose variants available for male and female. The loose variant looks like it's like designed to go over a boot or something, and the tight variant, like it's supposed to like tuck into a boot.
Yeah, that's kind of the basic differentiation for the two. So it's nice that they actually developed those two options, because I thought
there are actually some where they really look dumb if you don't have a boot, because like the one of the versions of the Jim Hadar pants, it's bloused, so if you don't wear it with a boot, it looks like there's something missing.
But those are in the tucked high.
A lot of them are very much designed.
Yeah, those aren't in the loose category. Those are So anyway, so we should probably move through these at a relatively rapid clip, because this is a big list. And Zero went to town on this one. So like the Cardassian options that we're getting through. And this would be under collar. It'd be under collar, and this may be only female. So yeah, you may if it's not there, Cardassian might be a little bugged right now. So I don't think, like, for some of these, like Ancient Herald, they didn't successfully unlock, but we got I mean, there's just so much here that it's kind of mind blowing for all the different options. So, you're seeing?
Looking forward to not seeing it.
Okay, chess piece. Try chess piece.
Okay, there we go.
It's one of the two. Yeah. So Cardassian. We got a few options. I mean, it's definitely enough right now that for female Cardassian, you can make a custom NPC for that, or someone who's aligned with the Cardassian, or what I recently did was just use the collar for miscellaneous alien.
Yeah.
Just recolor it, because there's some pretty neat options for that one. So yeah, Cardassian, not all there yet, but there's a few bits.
One of the privateer options looks pretty cool, because this is the TNG privateer thing where they had like the X-shaped chest harness.
We already had that one. We already had that one.
Right, but I was just saying that it actually looks reasonably good with the Cardassian chest wear option.
Okie dokie. So if Dragoon wants to move on from the Cardassian, we do have Nikul uniform. And this would be under loose jacket and I believe tight pants. We've also got a EV helmet associated with this one, and chest piece options, which are actually now properly textured and colored. We kind of got those like accidentally before, but now they are the legit, fully finished Nikul uniform pieces.
Yeah, we just had the untextured collar pieces before.
Yeah, and we've got both versions. We've got the associated belt and sort of robe type option for that one. I don't know if we got the Jodhpurs. I'm going to take a look for that one. Because those would be in...
check out the helmet.
Oh, we do have the Jodhpurs, so those are in the hip attachment category. So yeah, we got the full set for this guy.
Yeah, change it to helmets and hats. And then go down to head covering.
There it is.
And then that is a nifty one, and I've used it for a couple of NPCs so far, and it has some really interesting options. You can actually recolor the visor. There's only a few options that'll actually work for the color, so you just browse around, but they're dramatic. So you got that like that half shaded view. You can get that to like a full like blank like bright yellow. You can also recolor the major parts. So
there's a purple that works.
Yeah, so I really like this helmet. It's very nicely detailed. I don't think it comes on the Lobi variant, so this is something that Zero threw in.
It not, as far as I know.
Yeah, so this is something. We've also got the eye options too, the eye covering ones. So this is one of those examples of Zero just, they've got something internal. It's just, putting it out there for us to use in the Foundry. So, Yeah, I didn't know this existed, and it was, it's so far been a really great option.
It's interesting that the way that the glow effect works on the force field mask.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like it's all there, but it's not all there.
Yeah, it's using the I think it's using like the standard like lighting color palette, but the selector uses the sort of the sort of the standard off-duty palette. So you got to work with it a little bit, but the payoff is great.
All right, so next on the list is the X3.
Cool head. We've also got Nikul head textures and skull type. Male is broken right now for the Nikul head type. Female is not, and it's the wide-cheeked variant when you're using an alien. So wide-cheeked for the male. He has no skin textures that can be used, so if you want to terrify someone, it's a good option. I mean, it's just like this amorphous blue. So, but the skin texture works, though. So you can just use another alien NPC and just retexture the head, and we can make Nikul now.
I'm kind of sorry that we made the Vorgons the villains of the pilot instead of the Nikul.
We could change.
I mean, if there's a reason we went with Vorgons or not.
We could replicate them, and that was kind of
because we had the ships.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah, that's
we've also got Nikul ships now too. So if we wanted, we could rewrite it for.
We just didn't have the ability to make things that looked like proper Nikul.
We definitely can now. Yeah. Male and female. But yeah, the skin textures. There's 2 variants for male, 1 variant for female, and the female gets the wide head variant. And you can also, for that wide head, the wide cheek variant, use a few other alien skin textures. Not like the standard like. Humanoid 1 through 6, but the aged ones and everything down. So you can make some pretty interesting aliens with that guy.
Got Nikul 1 and Nikul 2.
Yeah.
All right.
You might get rid of that helmet so you can see a little bit better.
Yeah, and then after that, we got the X3 proto uniform. And just to give a little backstory on this one, we do not have this in the game. I don't think it even appears in the game. This is something that Cryptic made, and I think Zero said it was an alternative suit developed for Daniels. So it is a variant of the Federation time suit, but it includes a few unique pieces.
It has this armored chest piece that goes on it, like almost like a cuirass.
Let's see. Actually, hold on. I don't think I used that one yet. I must investigate. But yeah, it's got the
pants and jacket for it. They have a few extra pipes in specific places that, if you look at the whole thing, the extra pipes on the jacket and pants connect to the armor plate.
I did not see this had an armor plate. That's new
so
to me.
Where is this armor plate? I'm not finding it.
It's in the chest gear.
Okay. Yeah, let's see. I'm looking.
You do like jacket tight or jacket loose, whichever the top is in, and then you go to chest gear, and it'll have an option for the X3 armor.
Okay,
see, I'm not seeing it.
Jacket. Okay, jacket.
Maybe
loose.
it's not. Maybe it's on.
It's uniform armored, and then chest gear X3 proto.
Oh,
we gotta go to the armored.
Gotta go there.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
So you got to go to the special armor category. So you won't be able to kit bash as much for that one, but you can also just use the standard X3 proto. The one thing I'll say here, Drogon needs to show this because this is a darn cool piece of equipment. Is the and let me just make sure I can properly direct you to it. So I'm just scrolling through my project list right now. Okay, so what you want to do is to look under head attachment tech for mask X3 proto. This is a really nifty piece.
Still wearing the cool goggles.
Oh, I do like that armor piece.
Yeah, that's pretty cool looking.
Okay, so what I get from this is like evil Daniels.
Yeah, I mean, or this could have been used for like the it could have been like Evil Daniels, or they like were trying to do something for the Noi. Like they were going to give him like full on like temporal stuff. But yeah, I mean, this is a really neat set.
If I was to guess, I would guess that it was. Oh wait, there's a face mask for it too.
Yeah, that's what.
Yep.
That's face mask is really nifty, and you can recolor it a bunch of different ways. And yeah, that is it's a really good thing for really intimidating alien design.
Well, my thought was that this was basically like they're going to like have an alternate timeline version of Daniels where he wears this instead of his usual outfit.
Either that, or it's just like an upgrade, like for when he comes back later. Because this doesn't necessarily need to be.
Like a combat variant of his outfit.
Yeah, something like, if he's going to Deus Ex Machina at a certain point in the temporal arc, but then they sort of they changed up the writing, or this is going to be for a different cameo, but they ultimately got cut. Like this is like Chekhov's variant if he was going to do temporal agent stuff. So yeah, it's just something that they made and didn't use, and now we've got it.
But yeah, it's weird because it's definitely
it's an overlay on the standard time suit, and it's also got
it's got almost a melty organic feel to it.
Yeah, and I think this does this have a separate set of boots?
Didn't see any.
Okay,
but but the original ones mixed just fine.
Yeah, so you just use so the ones I thought might have been those are Sphere Builder. Okay. But yeah, you can just use the original Time Traveler boots, and those work just fine.
I mean, this is just a variant of the original time suit, though. So it has a few extra lines on the suit, and then has the chest gear and the face mask.
Yeah, but yeah, whoever made the chest gear and face mask at Cryptic, very well done.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now this is the first.
Ooh,
I suddenly have this feeling of
I know what.
I see something in the Foundry and wish I had it in the game.
I just realized what the chest gear reminds me of. Rowan-ish costumes from Champions Online.
Oh yeah, the weird. They're
like shape-shifting, semi-biomechanical aliens.
Yeah, I had fun with those pieces of champs.
Yeah, so the next one on from here is a set of 3. Actually, more because of the male and female variants for the Fed, but we got all the Kelvin uniforms.
You know what? I just thought of something that would be nice to have. The Omega Particle effect.
We have an Omega Particle, but as a placeable asset, but nothing too fancy for that one.
Well, I was thinking about the red, yellow, and blue variants with the like spinning things, because they have this.
The thing's part of the anniversary. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at them, and I'm not sure if this is new or not, but I don't remember ever seeing them do this effect where they throw out little balls in all directions.
Yeah, I think that's part of it.
I think they've always done that.
Yeah. Mm. So the and for the Kelvin uniforms, there's the KDF variant, the Romulan variant, and the Fed variant. We got all the parts, and KDF is. I've got the KDF in the ROM main game, and they're pretty nifty. Romulan has some options with the long coat, and you can also use a short sleeve variant.
Yeah, the Romulan one, it's basically Nero's outfit.
Yeah.
By the way, how do you get that? Is that a low-buy thing?
Low-buy store.
It is.
Mm.
Yeah, a lot of these costumes are fancier ones. So Nicole said, Kelvin said, Harold said, and so on and so forth. The exception are a few pieces which are completely unique to us, and it's just stuff that Zero thought we would like, and she was very on target.
Yeah, there's some really interesting things on this list of stuff we collected.
The one at the end of the list is my absolute favorite, and I don't want to spoil it until we can actually just show people what this thing is, because I was just like, I'm using this for all my missions now.
All right,
but
so
anyway,
I'm not going to dig out every single variant of the
Kelvin, but yeah, that we got all the Kelvin variants. They work equally well as in the main game, and yeah, you can start playing around with those options. And kind of corresponding to that, we also got the Discovery uniforms, which we actually saw in the last Spirit Bones project.
You mean the Fed ones, anyways?
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention,
the other ones don't exist in the game yet, so
yeah.
we can't.
Not to mention that two of us our player characters were wearing them as well. So
yeah, I thought it was 3.
Could have been 3.
Spiritborn, I think, may have been wearing Fed.
Yeah. Spiritborn was wearing one.
I was as well.
Oh! You mean this live stream? I was thinking of last live stream.
Nope. So anyway, the Discovery uniform, we've got that. And how many badge options do we have? Do we have the full set?
We do have a very large set.
Okay, so probably
Lieutenant Junior Science all the way up to Commander Command.
Okay, so we got the full gambit. Awesome.
Weren't you threatening to use the Discovery uniform for SSF?
I was at one point, but I'm probably not going to go through another uniform change. Because the one I've got now is pretty good, and I think people are going to be using the Discovery uniform a lot for Discovery stuff. So it's going to be an increasingly hard one to, I think, pull off as something else in the main timeline.
I think I was combining it with the Veterans uniform to do my idea for the Dragoons.
Yeah. Oh, dang it. Oh, God, I can't believe it.
What?
I just realized something didn't get added.
What's that?
And I thought I didn't ask for this one because I thought it was going to be automatic with 0.
Wait a second. I just wasn't. Alternate future variant. Is that the TNG one, or is that something?
That's all good things. That's all good things. Yeah.
Okay. Then.
The one we didn't get yet, and should probably remind Zero of because I'm pretty sure she really wants to add this one too. Scans. We didn't get scans yet. We didn't get scans yet.
And of course we want them.
Because that's what I keep paired up with the Discovery uniform. So, so
we don't want to exclude, the Scots from the Foundry.
No,
they need their tartans.
So yeah, we'll get that at some point. We'll start a campaign on that one. But yeah, no scans yet. So sorry to disappoint, but we didn't get that one yet.
Because in no way can those be abused.
No, well, actually, we did get one that might be abusable, but if this wasn't the Foundry community, and we're pretty on the level, so I don't think there's going to be a problem. Because a long-standing thing, and this is a couple down from the list, but a long-standing thing is we haven't gotten swimwear until now. But this is like part of an episode, so it's sort of the odd one out, but we got the retro swimwear.
I mean, it's not like we don't have like static NPCs that also have are in swimwear.
Yeah, so
we do have some of the Risa beachwear separates.
Usually
one of which is a bikini top with a shirt over it that's not closed.
Okay, yeah, but that's all like just kind of loungewear. So anyway, though, we did get that, and yeah, I don't think that's going to be a problem because especially it's in the game, we're all mature, and. Yeah, no.
It's a costume that you may or may not see people running around ESD in.
And I've only seen one saucy party in the whole of my Foundry playing, and it wasn't a mission where someone was. I don't think they're at the age yet where they would be able to take that any further. So anyway,
was it a Kerfat mission?
No. This was. I should probably name it because Heathen Dog will kill me. On Legion of Myth. It was Cold Blue Space, Part 1. So, a mission that I get perverse pleasure from because it is kind of off the wall, in terms of its tone and mission content, but it is very hard to play. It's a hard one to play. The author, he's got some really... I want to see him make more missions because I just get such a kick out of playing him, but more for an MST 3K style. It's like he's trying to do his best, but I think he's a kid, so you kind of like you get this really sort of almost surreal experience. It's like playing a dream sequence.
Is this the one with the magician?
Yes. It's the one with the magician. And the tower block, which I still want us to try to get through on the next time we get back to Foundry Live playing. Because there's one mission that is going to basically be like playing a Most Extreme Elimination Challenge type thing. But even more bizarre than... It's pretty epic. But anyway, yeah, so retro swimwear. And then we've got Herald Armor as our next item on the list. And this is one I did include in my list for things I want in the Foundry, because now we can actually have a variant of the Herald that we can make as a contact NPC.
One observation I made with the Herald armor is that the boots for that seem to have gotten added to a whole lot of things that they don't logically go with.
Oh yeah, it's kind of the it's kind of like it just kind of got added to a bunch of categories. I was able to put that to good effect though.
I mean, more is better. I mean, if they don't look good on your costume, you don't have to use them.
Yeah, it's kind of like getting the jumpsuits in all the male categories. It's not necessarily a problem that we get more options.
Yeah.
So
I did notice one thing when going through Romulan stuff is that for some of the Romulan costumes that have bare arms, for some unknown reason, they had the option to use things like Talaxian and Caitian skin on a Romulan character.
I think that could result in some pretty good jokes, like Caitian skin. Oh, you need to shave, or there's been a horrible accident. We're testing this hair restoration serum, and it got all over the place. So the so the Herald armor it's got some really interesting parts to it. So you got a couple of options for the chest gear that then opens up some cloth options for like kind of like hanging robe type things. And then
the Herald boots, not seeing them.
Are they not part of the type? Because they're there. We got two options for them. I've just seen them in other places. So you're looking in the tight. So armor tight. You got the.
Well, I wonder if maybe the Herald's boots are only for males.
Possibly. Oh no, I think I've seen them for females. It might be a different category though. So this might be a little bit of weirdness. Let me double check. Because. Let's see. Armor Herald. Okay, so it doesn't have them for skirt option. Let's check tight. Yeah, so we might not have gotten these in the right places. So that might be why we're seeing that in a bunch of other ones.
You need to change the lower category to Armor Herald rather than Pants Tight.
Ah, okay.
There we go.
There you go.
So there might be some weirdness with the boots, but yeah, there's a way around it for the full authentic effect. So this also comes with a helmet, which is something I felt like when we get a couple of options for these, sort of like the glowing option and the non-glowing option. And for the helmet, if you do the non-glowing option, it does actually pass for like an like a exosuit, like insectoid head. So you can actually get some pretty good effects with just using the helmet by itself, and then just doing a very sort of different style of body. So I don't believe this is this might be in its own category,
or it's under helmets category. And wraps.
Okay, so it's a full helmet.
Yep. I apologize to everyone. I'm not bothering to try and sync up any colors here.
Yeah, and then we've also... Did you put the wrist options on there? There's a wrist, there's also a belt, and there's armor hip attachment as well. So yeah, this is one of those more elaborate armor sets. Yep, Herald, I see it. It's above Intel. I saw that on the Twitch stream too. So yeah, we got those parts. And yeah, players can now do a lot more with... we got the big options too.
Yes, we do.
I haven't actually seen those ones before because I only have the light armor set in game.
So lots of fun to be had there.
Oh yeah, I mean the armor.
You can even give them a floater.
Yeah, and some of these armor options are also available under other categories, so you can kit bash with this one pretty well. The next one is actually kind of hard to use because it doesn't necessarily. I think in the main game it actually overrides your lower options, but because we can use those two independently, there's some clipping issues which you can get around by using some carefully. You got to play around with the slider options a little bit to avoid clipping, and to select like tight pants and then a pretty nondescript boot.
What is the category for the top?
The Zambian robe. It might just be in robes. Robe? Yeah, I think so.
No. There's actually a separate category for Zambian stuff.
No, here it is under.
It's in there too, I think. So we got this one maybe in a couple places.
I don't think it actually overrides your lower body's options. I think it just hides them.
Well, yeah, that's kind of my point. It's just that it does something in game that it doesn't do in the Foundry because we do have the independent upper and lower for at least the overall category. So for our Zambian options, there are a few clipping issues with using this guy, but you can get around them just with a little bit of careful design.
Still, though, very nice costume to have.
It's the giant onesie costume, and this also does come with a couple hoods. And so these ones are actually pretty.
Putting in Quinn in one of these, right?
I will eventually do that, but so far I've used it for a flying nun joke. I actually got that screenshotted in what I sent over to you.
If you can do like something where you wake up Quinn in the middle of the night and he's wearing this.
Yeah. So yeah, that will come at some point in SSF. So yeah, the couple of hood options also correspond to sort of the overall texture you can do, so you can get like more of a more ornate version and then a simpler version. But the hoods are pretty good because, I mean, Dark and Mysterious plus hood is kind of automatic. So, yeah. But yeah, for the lower, it basically, because it's sort of like it's all in one, I generally have just done tight pants with that one and just try to get something to hide it as much as possible.
Kind of tricky because it does. Even tights don't completely go away.
They don't, so you got to sort of like try to make it like as less visible as possible. And this could also include actually changing the body sliders, because they do scale a little bit, and also picking the color scheme appropriately and all that. So you may notice something, but it doesn't stand out. But yeah, it's one of those things where Zero said that some of these options may be broken, but her priority was getting us as many options as possible, rather than everything in the perfect state, because we can make use of a lot of this stuff, irrespective.
Oh yeah, we will find a way.
Yeah, I've already found a way. I mean,
if you have to tinker with it a little, oh well.
The alien flying nun is in an upcoming mission, so by the time I publish my 26th century thing, this will have already been used. Okay. It's so good just for miscellaneous alien. I mean, it just looks different. You get a different body style. Like maybe they're amphibian, maybe something's going on there. So it's a neat one. The next one is a pretty good set. It's the Sphere Builder robes.
Also we have two variants of that, don't we?
Yep, we've got two variants. One is a little bit more innate, one is not. And it's a good option set for, just miscellaneous alien of the week. I mean, it's good civilian wear. So this one was a real, I'm excited to have this one because there's a few options. But I think someone's jumping ahead.
I'm not trying to jump ahead. I'm looking for Sphere Builder robes.
Might be in tight. So it's not an actual.
Oh yeah. It's like upper body tight.
Yeah. It's in loose.
Jacket tight.
Okay, in loose. Okay.
Oh, jacket loose?
Yeah, or it might be in both. But yeah, I mean, we got sphere builder stuff now. So we've had the Tutorian head type. So now we can actually do custom sphere builders for legit in the Foundry. We got their ships too.
Interesting.
You found that the Dabo outfit.
Yep, Dabo outfit's next on the list, and we'll get to that one. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to send over a screenshot.
The most amusing thing with the Dabo outfit is that there's actually a male version of it.
Oh yeah.
All right,
Orc LLC is an equal opportunity employer. So yeah, Dabo includes boots, the upper and then the lower. And I sent what Kale just responded to with, well, the "what have I done" option. We got a scan! We do have scans! We got a scan! I didn't see that.
Uniform script for men.
Yes, we do have scans!
There it is.
Okay,
Scant.
Add that to the list. I'll add that.
Okay.
And you can do a bare chest. You can do Quinn in a bath towel now.
Yes. Okay. Yep. Okay, that's definitely going. Because I actually did try to do Quinn in a bath towel and had to sort of compromise. But yeah, that... I'm logging off this project, and I'm going to log into my next assets right now. Yep, so we got scans! We got scans. If Zero was listening earlier, it's listening now. Sorry. We got scans. We found them.
The downside is that in Beachwear Separates, the only gloves, or the only hands I can select is Gloves Retro.
That is perfectly fine, because I think that just makes it a little bit more faintly ridiculous.
Of course, that's not the only way to do...
Well, Quinn in a bathrobe, but it's definitely going to be the way I'm going to be setting this up right now. Because, I mean, the whole point of the scene where you find Quinn is that he has been incapacitated. You find him lying on the floor in his hotel room with a dead body in the room. And... feet. Ooh, excellent. Scans! Scans. So yeah, I just added to the list all caps, 3 exclamation points. There we go. But I will say that as awesome as scans are to get in the Foundry, it is still not quite my favorite, just because the last option on the list is still, to keep the hype up, is, yeah, that's...
it's good, but not the best.
This is good. This is second best. Zero outdid scans with her choice for the last one on the list here. But after the Dabo outfit, we have something that the players would certainly like to get in the main game, but we got it first. Kumarki's outfit, and I think we got both male. We do have both male and female for this one. We have Kumarki's Lucaria uniform, specifically. So that uniform plus associated chest piece and collar piece. And shoulder attachments and boots. I don't think there's a belt for this one. There might be. Yeah, I think this is another uniform loose one. Yeah, this is it's a very detailed option, and I'd really like to see this in the game sometime, because...
actually, I just thought of something. How long have we had the prison suit costumes available?
Oh, quite a while.
Yeah, so those kind of got added, those have been in for a while, and then we got, when we had the episode where, the first episode with Martok, the update that sort of gave, that update also gave males all the prison suits for all options. So those got expanded. Let's see, where is my Admiral Quinn costume? I just hope someone doesn't, screenshot this and basically just with the subtext, this is why we can't have nice things. Off duty. Let's see, beachwear separates. There we go. I didn't check to see if we had scans for the other ones, but I could definitely do this. Is why we can't have nice things, but
2 options for Lucari gloves. And there's the they call it the Lucari apron.
Oh, okay, yeah, we can have that chest option separate. Yeah.
One thing I noticed with the chest option is that the color channels for the glowy moving piece are set as an undershirt for some weird reason. But you only actually get one color channel, so it does give you some customization, but not necessarily as much as you might want.
I'm just thinking right now that it may be January, but it feels like Christmas.
Operation Put Quinn in a Bathrobe is complete. Oh, you know what? He needs more of a stomach. Why isn't someone saying, "Oh no, don't do it, Duncan. He's the head of Starfleet operations on ESD."
That's exactly why we're not saying anything.
This is for your inability to delegate to other officers.
Why do you keep calling me for all this stuff?
How dare you promote ensigns to admiral?
Seriously, by now he should have, had one of those things where he's like, forced into early retirement, but everyone knows what he did.
Does anyone outrank him enough to make him retire?
I don't know, because it's unclear if he's like the head of
Federation
Starfleet,
president.
Or
yeah, of course. I mean,
that would be funny if it turns out there's like another admiral right above him that we've just never heard of.
Well, I mean, if it's anything like the modern U.S., then yeah, it's basically the top of each branch of the military reports directly to the president.
He's the chairman of the Joint Chiefs equivalent.
I'm not sure exactly what Quinn's actually official position is, because
I checked the wiki recently when I was trying to actually write for Quinn, and the best we can say is that he's head of Starfleet operations on ESD, but he keeps giving us orders beyond that. So he could be head of Starfleet, but I don't think they've ever actually called him that yet.
I wouldn't say that he's the head of Starfleet, though, because if he was actually the head of Starfleet, he wouldn't be the commander-in-chief of ESD. He would have somebody else as commander-in-chief of ESD and simply maintain an office there.
So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm thinking is just, like, this is where I went for, giving him an official title on my mission. I said he was chief of ESD.
See, because,
that's where I ultimately went.
For a parallel, you look at Tanae. Tanae gives you missions involving, like, half the Beta Quadrant. I mean, really.
Yeah.
She has sent you all over the map to mostly areas that have something to do with the Romulan Star Empire. Mostly. So I'm thinking that the whole scope of mission giver thing is basically just... This is not necessarily a regular desk job posting. These are like people whose job includes overseeing fleet operations for a certain area of space.
I'm right now just making sure that I'm publishing the results of my very necessary experiment to put Quinn in a bathrobe. So I'll send the screenshot over in just a second by making sure Zero sees this. Look at what you've done.
For the record, I love these Lucari thigh-high boots.
Oh yeah, and those are also for male too. And I actually use those for miscellaneous alien species, and they're quite menacing in just pure black. So I mean, just as for like working with these in the Foundry.
I just thought of something. Mix those with the Jim Hadar. Not Jim Hadar, but Hirogen armor plates. I'm not sure how well they'd actually mesh, but that might look interesting.
All right, so I assume we still got more things we got to go over.
We're running down the list. List is not done quite yet. So we've got now a few options that are just sort of miscellaneous pieces.
Okay.
So the first in the wrist options, hierarchy. We don't have the chest, but we've got the wrists. And these are actually, I kind of found these very useful. It's just sort of like a finishing off a costume piece because you can kind of color it in contrast or along with it. So these are pretty nondescript, but pretty useful for showing things off. But yeah, it's in wrist and it's just hierarchy.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that some of these are just like random one-off individual pieces that you're like, I have no idea why that's in there, but sure, whatever.
Yeah, Zero thought these would be useful, and yeah, they've. I've used all these little ones except for some of the KDF ones.
They under a specific category?
Just loose, so they're not under a specific category. We don't have a hierarchy uniform, specifically because that's just section 31 of the few bits. These are just jacket loose and just go under wrists. So all of these
I'm not seeing them.
Go to mail then.
Oh, okay. Because there are no female hierarchy. Duh.
Okay.
Well, we've never seen
not that
them.
we've seen.
Presumably they exist. Presumably they exist, that is.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're one of those androgynous races.
I said that like in some.
What if all the ones that we've seen are female?
What I actually like, that was something that I'd say is just there are sex differences. It's just that you can't appreciably tell it because they're just non-hetero. Dang it! There's a science for it.
They have a low level of sexual dimorphism.
There we go. Sexual dimorphism. That was the word I was looking for. Yeah, they have a low level of that. But I did actually say in for Starfire Theta's mission Cyber, he was looking for some dialogue to fill up a library. So I created the factoid that hierarchy females are about half the size of the males and are light blue. I mean, just to kind of take the opposite direction, that they have an incredible amount of sexual dimorphism. So if you actually want to make a hierarchy female, what we could do is just make a really short hierarchy and color it blue, and that's a female.
I keep saying that the female Gorn are the giant Gorn that wander around First City.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, yeah, because the female lizard, female reptiles tend to be larger. So that's what that's kind of my headcanon, that the big Gorn are female and the little Gorn are males. You got the small wiry ones and then you got the big ones, and yeah, that's just my idea for that.
Yeah, because so some of the big ones really don't look like they would fit inside a starship very well.
Okay.
Which, of course, is the whole headcanon for why they don't show up as bridge officers, is that they're just too big to fit inside your ship.
I feel like I should quick throw on jumpsuits for this next one.
Yep. Because the next one is something that a lot of authors, I think, could make use of in one mission or another. Shackles.
Mm-hmm.
It should be a very, very versatile one.
This is like the prison thing from the Martok mission.
Wonder if we've got an animation that has like a prisoner with his arms stuck together.
What you could probably do is to repurpose the military like stand at attention, where you put your mood military, because then your arms are behind your back, crossed over.
That's true. We've also got the ones where their like arms are supposed to be attached to a wall and they're struggling.
Oh yeah.
Well, they would certainly work for that, yeah.
So,
because I know that from that Martok mission, there was like an animation where you had your hands where your wrists were touching each other in front of you, and you would just like walk around with your hands stuck together like that.
Yeah, that's like a new animation. So for walking around, so that we don't have.
I'm not even sure how that would work in the Foundry.
Yeah, I mean, you could do the standing part of that, where hands behind the back, but if we're talking about getting new animations in, I mean, that's a long discussion.
So that's actually a special walking animation, not a static animation.
No, because we walk around with.
it's like a volume or something that was kind of causing the player to walk like that.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the next one on the list after the shackle is bandolier, simple strap, and that's in chest. And I think just sticking with jacket loose for these is going to be good, but you will need to swap factions in just a second.
All right. Well, there's the simple
strap. So this is bandolier, simple strap. So this is a variant of let's see. I think this is just like a sort of a simplification of the bandolier pierces from the Mirror Universe. But this one's been reduced, and it's just, nice dressing on a uniform. So you can basically use this as a garnish to take something that might be a little bit more recognizable and just add a little bit more flair to it. Especially if you use it in a different color, because then you can make a design that stands out a little bit. I think actually double check for this next one, suspender single. So it's a couple down on the list, but this might still be within the same faction. And if it's not there in chest pieces, switch gender to female. Because I know it's
suspenders simple.
Suspender single.
I got suspenders simple.
Okay, then it might just be that. Let's see. I'm looking at the stream. So, nope, not that one. So go ahead and look in female, because this is a variant of that one where you just have that one and it's off to the side. Yep, female.
I just thought of something. Do we have the prison suits for female? Because I one thing I noticed is that the prison, there's a special category on males for prison suits, but I don't remember seeing the prison suits on females.
I know the jumpsuit suits show up in more than just the. I'd have to look deeper into it. Anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, moving on from this one, now go into the KDF.
Okay. Is now angrier.
Oh, did we do the Mirror Crenum's outfit yet?
That one's old.
Oh, that is?
Yep, that's old. Well, not like old, but yeah, that's not part of the recent update. So yeah, these are another just few miscellaneous options. Arm attachment, Nausicaan tech.
Do I have to be a Nausicaan?
No.
Interesting, because
yeah,
that's not the way it usually works. Weird.
No, these also aren't typical Nausicaan pieces. That's the name of the item.
Seeing it. What category?
Upper loose. Let me just gotta make a new character to test this out. Hang on. It should just either be loose or tight jacket. Nothing too fancy for these ones. I'm attaching left. Nausicaan tech, yeah, I'm just in jacket uniform loose on female, switching to male.
Oh.
Then jacket loose. Arm attach. Female only.
Oh.
Yeah. General rule, if you get... Yeah, but, I mean, it's just one of those things that... Actually, for Nausicaan, too.
Yeah, that is weird. It's a female-only Nausicaan costume?
That's what it's named, though. I mean, because, these are probably, like, cryptic internal names. So, who knows what these were originally designed for, but this is what we've got to call them in the Foundry.
I really have to wonder if maybe that the cryptic design team internally created parts that were meant to be used for female Nausicaans, and they just didn't actually finish working on it, and it's one of those things that's like, well, it's not in the schedule to finish working on this, so we'll shelve it indefinitely.
I mean, could be that.
There's probably a number of sort of dead-end development paths that they might have started or thought they wanted to start, and then it just worked out this like, yeah, we're not going that direction. So
you know what they say about upcoming content. This is why they can't. This is why. The one thing I'll also say is that it could also have just been Zero just taking a look at it and just trying to come up with a name for it and just said Nausicaan Tech.
Well, yeah,
or it might have been it was labeled as an internal file, despite what it was ultimately intended to be.
Yeah. There's someone along the lines named it Nausicaan.
With like Epos being squirrels.
That's a good point. Yeah.
All right, so we did suspender singles. Orion TOS belt.
Towards Orion TOS belt. This is a recoloring of a belt we already have, but in a different way. So like the Gorn variant of the sort of the Vedic uniform, it's got sort of a blotchy pattern, but you can do some new things with this one. So yeah, it's just Orion, it's just in belt, TOS belt.
It's one of those things where you look at it and you're like, huh, that's neat. It looks like really bad with most costumes, but it's one of those things where it's on a costume that actually looks good, it would probably look really, really good.
Yeah, you can do some interesting things with this one, especially if you're going for like almost like a tie-dye pattern. Wait a minute.
It just looks like a single solid color.
Go to male, because this might be broken.
Okay.
Well, see, because on the female version, it would work for like you have like a sash around your waist or something.
Yeah, I don't think that's properly textured. So, I mean, there's plenty of sashes that are like that, but yeah, that's not what it's supposed to look like. So go to male.
Yeah.
Go to male.
Yeah, and I guess if we wanted to do it on female, we could just use the fabric draped tassels.
Yeah,
It's
and the
almost the
tassel
same
one
thing.
is the same. Well, actually, this one's the one you've got going there, or this one's the older variant. So originally, I think developed for Romulan refugees, but we kind of have a stripe variant now, and this one is just it's a little bit more tie-dye.
Well,
but yeah, for females,
a lot of the costume things we have that are like specific to Romulans aren't really things that need to be specific to Romulans, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it's like some of the stuff from the early Romulan arc, which are just sort of like miscellaneous.
They just like made a bunch of new cool things for the Romulans. Then you look at this and like, so why are only Romulans wearing this?
Well, in the main game, they do want to provide some level of distinction for the customization options. So that definitely does feed into it when you're dealing with main stow stuff.
Ooh, another good example is they recently added a well, not recently, but it's been a while. But a while back, they added a new hair option that's specific to Romulans. People are like, "Wow, this is cool." Wait, why is it Romulan only?
Oh yeah,
like the punk hairstyle.
Oh, punk? No, punk is available for a lot.
Well, that's just it. Is that it was originally only Romulans, if I remember right.
There's other ones that are part of this argument. So there's a bunch that are like the long. It's the one the captain of the Teles uses, Jorok. I know that's definitely featured in that argument. But moving on to the finale, the grand finale, the one that I'm most excited for. Go to hands.
Okay.
And if it's not available, jump to Fed.
Yeah, I saw your note on that. I scratched my head and I'm like, how exactly?
Then you saw it?
No, that's just it. It said I looked around and I'm not sure.
Hands. Yeah, I mean just tight uniform or just loose uniform, nothing fancy. Go to hands, Solange in hands.
Okay, we'll switch.
Switch to Fed then. Yeah. And not there, tight uniform. Or loose uniform.
Was on loose uniform.
Okay.
There it is. NPC Selenogen.
Oh yeah, in Alien. Yeah. Because these are the Selenes or the Selenogen life forms hands.
Claw things.
They are the two-fingered Pidgeoclods. We can make Zoidberg now.
Why not Zoidberg?
But you can what I found remarkable is because these will also scale with the finger options on the hand. So with the Alien, you can make these very different based on changing the width, changing the size, changing the length. And
don't we already have
scary.
Preset NPC costumes that use these?
Yeah, we got Selenogen life forms, but we don't actually have the pinchy hands. I mean, this is
one of the Liberated Borg options has them, I think. Or maybe it's just there's one of the Liberated Borg options has like two-fingered hands. Like a Borg cooperative, I think. NPC.
You mean the cooperative NPCs?
The cooperative NPCs, like not the customizable in the tailor.
Yeah. I was saying preset costumes.
Yeah, I'll take a look for which one that might be. So co-op, because the cooperative has some pretty nifty options.
Yeah, so some of them are some like really screwball aliens. There's a wide variety of assimilated versions of known species.
Yeah, one of these. Okay, yeah, one of these actually has the Selenogen. Yeah, one of these guys has the Selenogen hands. The Commander Male. So yeah, he's got the two-fingered hands, but it's just these ones. So we can now use them for customization parts. And I will say, having used a couple of designs that use this is a really nifty option.
Ooh, did we ever get the short lizard tail?
Nope. I don't think so. Because tail options are kind of off the table for incoming things. I mean, Zero could always add them to the Foundry, but definitely main game we do.
It's just that currently only Cations and Phoracians have the tail category, period, as a customizable feature. So the fact that there are NPCs that have tail options that are not cattails is kind of a problem for us as customization, simply because there would be only one option for aliens.
Yeah, and there's more options out there. I mean, there's the Nausicaan tails, and you see people who have broken the tail or using these in the game, and it's just like
Nausicaan tails,
or sorry, Gorn tails.
Oh yeah, okay.
Gorns don't have tails.
Or there's a lizard tail in the game. There's the
Cation tails that you see a lot of.
There's the Cation tail. I think there's another tail option. Oh, this is in the Starfleet, but I think it's just a modification of the tail option.
It's just like this short pink tail that looks like it's about a foot long, and it's kind of lizardy looking, like what you would expect to have if, say, a Saurian had a tail. That's really what it looks like. It's like a Saurian tail.
Yeah.
It's just that most Saurian NPCs don't have tails.
So yeah, that finishes up for the new customization options. There are a couple more things on the list in the ship category, but we mentioned these ones: the Bajoran Interceptor and the Dranzuli/Herc Swarmer.
Are those customizable, or are those just simple preset costumes?
There's not a lot of customization.
There's not a lot, but you can do a little bit.
Oh, so it's like spray painted?
Well, yeah, it's par for the course.
For the Bajoran one, it's pretty much the same customization that you have in game, which is also not a ton, but there's two hull options and what have you.
Ironically, I've got another NPC costume I built on here of Bajoran Fighter because we didn't have one. But now we do.
Well, so what did you use?
I just got rid of it. I don't know.
You don't remember?
One of the KDF.
Probably like the KDF fighter.
Like a toe dudge.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and having used this in the game, me and Sir Boulevard got these from one of the 10 Forward streams. This is a really good ship. I mean, I'm really surprised. It's got a pretty versatile buff setup, and the 5/3 weapon setup is pretty good. And if you're using the tier 6 or the mastery trait from the tier 6 Breen Raider, that has some great synergy. Like those two traits sort of working together, and the console on this one is gangbusters. It is nasty. The effect is basically make your ship kill things faster, and then it buffs phaser damage and accuracy.
And I assume like all the other anniversary ships, the console is universal and it can be put on anything.
It is universal. I put that on my Sovereign class, and it's just like, holy crap. So you want this ship, even if you're not a fan of the Bajorans. It's a fun ship to use, and the console is fantastic. And the trait is another one of those. It helps buff pilot, give that a little bit more firepower, and you can start building up to a really strong pilot build with these guys. So if you haven't started doing the event, start doing it, because you don't want to miss out on the ship, especially if you're playing Fed.
So, Duncan, you posted your screenshot of your Admiral Quinn costume.
Yes, I will put that in the. I will put that in the place.
Yeah, which is pretty funny. And I got to say, I didn't realize Quinn was that buff. I mean, he's obviously been working out.
Yep, there you go. I also put a few this is what I made earlier.
He's one of those guys who the uniform he wears isn't form-fitting, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah, and that's kind of just the standard male torso. So.
Oh yeah, of course, obviously.
Because in the future, I mean, when you go to sleep at night, the sheets will massage you and make abs.
So that's how that works in the future.
Yep, in the future they've got these exercising sheets. So whenever you go to bed, you get a workout.
Those like bands that you used to put on your waist.
Yeah, it's that's the principle. It's lost technology, and the future just realized that if you make a sheet out of it, you can do this with nanotechnology, and it works. Because that's the one thing. I mean, we assume that all the ideas we have now about what's sensible and sort of what works and what's not completely stupid to do. I mean, we kind of have just a sensibility of just that's native to any time, where we've got ideas and they're never going to be mocked by future generations. So, I mean, at the very least, for some Star Trek, if you want to make some jokes in Star Trek Online, what was the 21st century thinking by doing X? I mean, yeah. So anyway, yeah.
There's just really a lot of that you can do.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, in when you're writing for Star Trek Online, it's a Star Trek game, but also keep in mind it's a future game set in our own universe, so you can also leverage that as well, the original sci-fi jokes.
Is that Khan's necklace?
Yeah,
yep. I gave him a bling. I gave him some bling earlier, and I just kept that on him.
But Quinn is pretty gangsta, I gotta say.
I should also mention that we did get a in that in same bear category for chest. We did get another option: civilian necklace chain. It's in the same vein. Let's see. Yeah, it's just basically that, but smaller and less pronounced. Mm-hmm. So anytime you can use conspended.
Then not the Starfleet logo on it.
You don't get the Starfleet logo, so it's the exact same thing, but minus that logo. It's also a slightly different position, but it's the same style.
But I think Quinn here could give shirtless Kylo Ren a run for his money.
Yep. Now, let's see. Do I want to give him Spran? No, I don't want to give him Spran.
All right, so there's one last ship we have to talk about on the list.
Yes, and that kind of feeds into what we're going to talk about in our few remaining minutes here. So why don't you put it up there, Dragoon?
Got it up.
It is up.
All right, so we had the latest featured episode, which kind of wraps up the Zenkethi arc and obviously starts something new, and it has very much to do with these ships. So spoiler alert, if you have not played the episode,
I already
turn it off. He already revealed it if you missed it, but yeah. I'm actually pointing at your icon on my screen for all the good that does. He did it.
He did it. I did it. I said it. But yeah, I kind of said that there were spoilers beforehand, so.
Yeah. Well, it's been out for almost a week, so most people have played it.
All I did
was
show a ship. I haven't given away the big spoiler.
So let's do it now. Okay, so the Drantzuli are actually something that the Herc do. And that is the major reveal of this particular episode. And we apparently woke up the Herc.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I'm wondering if maybe Drantzuli is the proper name for the Herc, because if you pay close attention, Herc is actually a Klingon word that means outsiders.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it could be Drantzuli.
I think Drantzuli is a Zenkethi word.
Yeah.
So maybe their proper name hasn't been revealed yet.
Oh, that'd be interesting, because what Cryptic could do is say it's another species that we may know of, so they could close some connections there.
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe.
But we also know that the Herc had a planet in the Gamma Quadrant, which it kind of explains.
Well, apparently the Herc homeworld was in the Gamma Quadrant. At least according to Star Charts maps.
Well, yeah, and it was mentioned in DS9 that...
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right, because when they found the Sword of Kalas, that's where they found it.
Well, they don't say it's the Herc homeworld.
No, it's not the Herc homeworld, but they are from the Gamma Quadrant, which would also explain why the Dominion are involved at all.
Yeah.
That
of course is the other major reveal of this episode, is that the Dominion comes in and helps save the day, and they're on our side. And Odo's back.
Yep.
So the question, using a line of dialogue that they're very upfront about this, the devs are, that they took from an episode.
Oh yeah,
but they also said that they'd like to get the actor in whenever possible, and they weren't.
It's interesting to me that they're not guaranteeing that they did this without actually knowing if they could, or.
Well, here's the thing: they haven't announced it, so this is the point where Kale should have just flashed up. We don't talk about upcoming content, Dragon, but that would have been giving too much away even if he did that. So let's just say that Cryptic probably knows a little bit more about the circumstances behind this line that they have been told, and we can't draw firm conclusions about what.
One thing I feel the need to point out is that this isn't the first time it's been done, and the other time it happened, we did not actually have that particular character appear again.
Yeah, so this was in Agents of Yesterday. So we did have.
Okay, maybe there's more than one. I was specifically thinking of Belana Torres in the Voyager stuff.
Oh, yeah, because that was replaying that exact scene from the show.
Exactly, but they did actually sample the original dialogue.
Didn't they actually have someone else just record lines of a woman shouting?
For Belana?
I want to say they did record something, but it wasn't. Obviously, it wasn't.
They actually did have the line from when she's yelling at Harry as he falls out the airlock or whatever it was.
Yeah, but
that was actually an audio sample from.
I'm gonna say though, the context is a little bit different for this time, because it is very much here is Odo. He is in our immediate vicinity. He is involved in the plot, and he is basically just sort of standing there. I'm gonna be a cameo, but it hasn't been confirmed yet. It might be a fake out, but at the same time, if it is, it's a little disappointing. So possibly they got Renee on, possibly not. Can't talk about it now. Hasn't been released.
I will say they would not have gone this far if they weren't at least didn't think that there was a really good chance that they could get him.
I'm sure they're trying for it. I mean, it may be one of those things where they actually do have him and they just can't confirm it yet. They don't want to confirm it yet.
Oh god! I just found out that I could add chest hair onto Admiral Quorum.
Oh god! Took you this long to notice.
This is
Zero. What have you done?
She has already responded that just for the gloves thing, that's just weird. But no, I'm not going to do this because it doesn't look as good with the spots. Okay, yeah, I gotta dial that back.
There's no chest hair in Star Trek, remember?
Oh no, there is.
Picard has lots of chest hair.
Yeah,
I guess maybe it was TOS that there was no chest hair.
There's no chest hair in TOS. It's just
I'm going to say Leonard Nimoy's got some chest hair.
Yeah, but Kirk is the one we are most familiar with, and yeah, he was pretty well shaved.
I'm
not sure he actually shaved his chest because I'm not. I don't know.
Yeah, it's something we can't really speculate on this podcast.
Yeah.
I'm personally not familiar with chest hair removal techniques, so
yeah, I'm not going to dissect that one in too much detail. So
man, this episode's
yeah. So anyway,
weird.
we have gone through all of the stuff so far that we have just gotten the Foundry. And
obviously it opens up a whole ton of new options. I mean, we got the Discovery uniforms. We can make Discovery missions. We got the Kelvin uniforms,
and just assigning new aliens.
We can make Kelvin
through that.
Uniforms?
It's just kind of like there's just a new level now you can go to because we have so many new. All the combinations are just like we've got all these options. So there's the linear increase, but then they all feed back on each other because you can modify them. So it's I mean. There's a lot of new design you can go to, and it's been great to go through the last week here and just play with these options for 26th Century. I just have to thank Zero again that this has been amazing to get this much in one go and to get so many awesome costume parts that go really well by themselves together and fill up a lot of different spaces in the Foundry. So, yeah, it's definitely big thanks to Zero for putting in the time to get all this stuff to us.
So we talked a little bit about the mission, but we really didn't sort of talk about what we think of it. So what did you guys think of that mission?
I liked it. I liked the fake out with the Zenkathi and the way it was originally structured at the first point, and it kind of added more complexity to the species and basically gave us a Zenkathi Jigoro.
Well, the interesting thing about this mission is that it makes it seem like the Zenkathi are on the verge of a civil war because while the Autarch and the military have been going at it with this proto-matter bombing thing, there's a lot of... The Zenkathi people are becoming increasingly unhappy with the way this is going and they're not entirely behind it.
Yeah, although I will just sort of say that just one officer kind of going against the grain doesn't necessarily say that there's like this building.
Yeah, it's hard to say how widespread that is.
It's hard to say, but at the same time, it does show that within individuals and Zenkathi, there is a greater range of responses than we've thus far seen. So it does add more depth to the species.
Yeah, they're not just one species.
Yeah, to see at least one example of a Zenkathi saying, "No, I don't want to do this." Which is one of the impetuses for me wanting to put a Zenkathi in my 26th Century mission as a main character. Because now it's just...
This kind of gets on the one-off species that actually weren't Planet of Hats.
Exactly.
And that's actually a really good thing and makes them more relatable as characters when you don't have it just like, oh, well, this is why... the way this guy acts because he's this species, and instead it's just like this individual acts this way because they're this individual.
Yeah,
and I think you're only really able to do that when you actually spend some time with a species. You know, Klingon started off pretty one note, and we've been able to, through lots of TV episodes and lots of movies, been able to explore and open up lots of different things about Klingons. Whereas,
with Klingons that I've found most hilarious over the years is that the original Klingon appearances, they came across a lot like Bond villains more than the way they're portrayed nowadays.
Because you had that definite shift when Ron Moore basically rewrote the Klingons into samurai Vikings or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I will say, I mean, I will be honest, I felt like this last series was uneven as far as quality. We've had some good episodes, and we've had some weaker ones. And I didn't feel like the reveal of the Zenkathi was pretty lopsided, and it took a really long time to get anywhere with that plot. And then it kind of just lurched forward when we got the name of the Drazuli towards the end. But I will say, I thought this episode was
maybe it might work better if you were, playing through all of them
back to back
in one lump. Yeah,
but
yeah, because
they hung on. They hung on to the secret of what those crystals were for far too long.
Yeah, because there was that basically I think it was one mission too long where we weren't thinking about them. Like it was one where we're just like I think it was the first one with the Zenkethi. We're in the cave with the crystals and we just beam out. And we weren't really critical of what the Zenkethi are doing. That's where I think we should have been doing a little bit more digging.
It never made sense to me. It's like, okay, the Zenkethi are here going to the effort of blowing these things up. I'm going to haul one of them off to my ship so I can have my science officers spend the next 3 months studying it.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, that's what I would do.
And remember, they also put in just a random one-off mission in the middle of the release cycle here with what do you call it? Nexus.
Survivor?
Beyond the Nexus.
Well, beyond the Nexus, you also had the one with Scylla and Tasha.
Yeah, Survivor, which didn't advance this particular plot at all.
Yeah, so I think it's just like in the grand scale, there is a to go through it through the first release. I think the pacing is going to feel a lot more off than if you go back to it now and just play straight through the Zenkethi missions.
Mm-hmm. I wish that was easier, but you can't skip Future Proof to actually get there.
Oh, I was just thinking about just going through the standard replay.
Yeah, I know. But for characters that haven't.
Yeah.
That option. Cryptic, if you're listening. Please let us skip Future Proof.
Well, we know Farktoid is listening, so.
Well, Fark doesn't work there anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he hasn't worked there for years.
Yeah, but he
just sits there and lobs grenades from the sidelines.
Yeah, what we can do is just team up with Fark to just keep poking people at Cryptic. He can give us a good sense of like how annoyed they are with us, so we can either ratchet on the pressure, take it back. Yeah.
I don't think he knows much more than we do.
Anyway,
so yeah, I mean, it leaves us on a kind of a cliffhanger. Obviously, the Herc are back. The Dominion has come through the wormhole, and they're going to be heavily involved in things. We don't know what information they have to tell us. Maybe there's more Herc stuff going on in the Gamma Quadrant. I think that's probably a reasonable assumption.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, my mind went in that direction as soon as I saw them in the Delta Recruit event make a point of talking about the Herc in the Delta Recruit stuff. I'm like, wait a second, this feels like foreshadowing.
I gotta go back to that.
It's in the Klingon Delta Recruit stuff, though. So if you only played the Fed Delta Recruit stuff, you wouldn't see it.
We know how far they plan ahead, but I don't know if that's...
I think it's them returning to an idea that they had long ago.
Yeah, like the Herc are going to be involved in some way. They definitely don't do like the have every single point of dialogue structured years in advance. They're just sitting on this giant stack that the writer just keeps adding.
Right. Well, I mean, it's like with TV shows, is that you leave loose plot threads that you can pick up later, even if you don't necessarily have a solid plan on what you want to do with it. You have this general idea, it's like, I want to use this again.
Yeah, an example from 10 Forward Weekly that they shared was that they didn't actually have the idea to make Lucari involved as much as they are with the current story arc. But people liked it, and they reworked storylines, or just worked up storylines, with Lucari becoming increasingly involved. So that was just in response to feedback, and just kind of showing how much like they've got, even with a plan, they still have a good amount of flexibility to rework stories as they're seeing people respond to them.
Well, I mean, with this mission, Scylla and Charybdis, the only Lucari involvement is that Kumarki happened to be flying her ship as part of the task force to shoot at the Zenkethi.
Yeah, but it's like finding the Kentari homeworld, that probably wouldn't have happened in Cryptic's original plan. Because that was basically like just doing more with Lucari as a faction.
Of course, that was kind of another side mission that didn't necessarily involve the Zenkethi side of the plot line. It was a good mission, though. I liked it.
The one thing it did actually add was it did start and talk a little bit more about protomatter. So I think it filled up a nice spot between linking the Lucarii with protomatter. And then the Zenkethi were there, too. So, I mean, still continuing that side. So they're kind of in a holding pattern. But we did get the other side. And I think that was important to try to develop, especially for colony fleet holding and everything that involves. So I think it was overall necessary for the season, but not if you want to minimize, like, get the season down to its bare essentials. So
also, it feeds into my old hypothesis that Spock's comment about how no ethical scientist in the universe would actually use protomatter as part of a device is something that the Vulcan Science Council decreed to be true, in much the same manner that the Vulcan Science Council once decreed that time travel was impossible.
Yeah. So,
and no one else in the Federation was able to tell the Vulcans they were wrong and prove it, so they just went along with it.
Yeah, so I think it was a good bit of just opening up the technology and sort of, it kind of felt like Star Trek Online is sort of setting its own path with that, because you could just stick with the sort of the cant of Star Trek canon that no one uses protomatter, it's too dangerous. But yeah, I mean, it's the future, and we've got, different technology, and we're encountering different species with different ideas.
Yeah. So one last thing about that episode, we also got the return of Loris.
Oh yes,
but not quite the Loris we were expecting.
No, because when we first meet Loris, she doesn't give us her number. In this mission, she does. In this mission, she identifies herself as Loris 4, and states that the Loris who took over Deep Space Nine was Loris 3. We don't know why.
Yep, she might be just pining for the fjords. She's resting. She's just in,
or she's
retirement.
Dead. She's an ex-Loris.
She's an ex-Loris.
I suppose we'll find out, or well, maybe we'll find out. I have a feeling that it will at least come up in dialogue somewhere.
Yeah,
of what happened to Loris 3. At
the very worst, if we don't find out, Foundry mission.
Fartoid said Loris 3 was eaten by a grue.
In her script notes, it reads, "Exit pursued by a bear." Anyway, that about does it for us this evening. So thanks everyone for joining us. And Dragoon, if you want to put up our contact information.
All right. We can be reached by email at foundryroundtable@live.com. We are also on Twitter at Foundry Roundtab. Drogan can be reached at Drogan1701. Duncan can be reached at Gorgonups_SSF. Mark can be reached at Markhawkman. And I, of course, can be reached at Greendragoon.
And tune in to my Twitter account if you want to see the latest of Quinn in a bathrobe. I will be sure to keep...
I think this should be an ongoing series of random scenes featuring Quinn in a bathrobe.
Start a new Twitter account called Random Quinn.
Hashtag off-duty Quinn.
Oh, God.
Ooh, I just thought of something to do with that.
A Quinn's life for me.
No, it's just that it occurred to me that long ago I methodically reconstructed Loris's costume in such detail that it's difficult to distinguish it from the real thing. And I was just like, wait a second. I could have Loris talking to Quinn in a unprofessional situation.
We're about to get Quinn fired. That's for sure.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like I said, this is just prefaced. This is just prefaced with, this is why we can't have nice things.
Mm-hmm.
Odd fantasies why
we should have nicer things. Yeah.
Give us more nice things. I mean,
give us more nice things. Look at the crazy crap we're getting up to with it. All right.
I just thought of one thing that's interesting to remember, though, is that there was at one point in DS9 where there was actually two different versions of one of the Vorta running around, and that one of them had actually been sent to kill his lower numbered version.
I mean, that's what I kind of mentioned before the show. That was where we had sort of almost a Wayun redemption episode. I mean, they could do the same thing with Laura's.
They could. But we will have to wait and see. So for the moment, we will say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night.